The story actually goes all the way back to October 2015 at ECTRIMS when we presented our first data at Barcelona at the ECTRIMS, where we unblinded the trials. We had trials called OPERA, which is in relapse CMS, and the Oratorio BPMS. And at that Congress, we showcased the top-line data for both of those trials that were positive. All three trials, 2 trials in OPERA and 1 trial in Oratorio. The story now has evolved over the last, since then, to where we follow these patients now for a total of 4 years. So in the OPERA trial, patients are started on Ocrelizumab, now have been followed for a total of 4 years, because there are 2 years in studies and 2 years in the open label. And we also have patients that switched. They were on interferon beta, because the study compared Ocrelizumab to interferon beta, and now they have been on Ocrelizumab for the last 2 years. So we have a total of 4-year data in these patients. And we see very good sustained efficacy on 3 measures. Relapse rates remain low, MRI lesions in the brain remain low, and disability progression remains very low in these patients. And not only that, the patients that switch will see a rapid reduction in relapses as well as the MRI lesions, and then the disability progression also remains low. The patients that started on Ocrelizumab in the beginning have a lower disability progression rate than the patients that switch, which indicates that you really want to treat patients as early as possible. So that's one piece of data that we're showcasing here. The other piece is cognition. So now for the first time we're showing cognition data from our studies. We used a measure called SDMT, the Symbol Digit Modality Test. And we see that in the studies, the OPERA studies, the relapse MS studies, we see a decrease in progression of cognition by about 40% when we compare the Ocrelizumab treated to the interferon beta treated patients. Not only that, if you look at a subgroup of our patients from the study, those patients actually improve in cognition. Patients that were at baseline worse off in terms of disability and cognition, those patients seem to improve their measure of cognition. So that's the second piece. And the third and last piece that we're highlighting here is a biomarker. The field has been looking for a biomarker to look for early signs of progression in patients for a long, long time. And we're showing data here on a biomarker called NFL, neurofilament light chain, for spinal fluid. And there we see with a single Ocrelizumab dose, at 12 weeks about 25% reduction in NFL, and at 24 weeks about 50% reduction in NFL. NFL is a marker of neurons, degenerating neurons that are dying off in the brain. So this is an indicator that we're reducing that degeneration of neurons. Of course, this is important for patients because that can indicate a decline in their ability to, their disability and their cognitive abilities of these patients. Yes, we're committed to following these patients for a long, long time. And so here we're showing the 4-year data, and we'll continue to show updated data in future congresses. Also what's important, so that's the efficacy side of the equation. We're also showing here safety data. We're following these patients for safety. Safety is of highest importance for Roche and Genentech. And so we're showing patients that 3,700 patients that we've been following, which represents about 9,400 patient years. And the safety data shows that there's no new safety concerns, and we continue to have a favorable benefit risk for these patients. And we will continue to report these data, safety data, every 6 months at the congresses. This is also in context of, that's the trial data. We also have now 40,000 patients that have been prescribed Ocrelizumab, and there again we see favorable benefit risk and no new safety concerns in these patients.